Hey folks, it's Tony here with Harrisonburg Hyundai, and you see it now, the evolution of Hyundai, the all-new, redesigned 2026 Hyundai Palisade in Galaxy Maroon. Let's check it out. So if you remember back in 2018, Hyundai teased us at the LA Auto Show with what the Palisade was going to look like. Took a little while and we finally got it in 2020. And now we have our first refresh, the Gen 2 LX3 model Palisade calligraphy right behind me. We have two powertrain options. Beside me, we have the all-new revamped 3.5 liter V6 that makes just under 290 horsepower, which makes it the most powerful Palisade on the market. You also get 4 additional trim options now, plus in the cabin, some of the most sophisticated technology that you're gonna see in the market right now for a third-row SUV. So what does all that mean? Yes, the Palisade now has evolved to the most luxurious SUV for the money. Probably one of the most controversial changes now for this beautiful Palisade are these aggressive, super wide daytime running lights on both sides, which when they pair up with that daytime running light across the middle of there, you see that H that really stands out, the symbolism of Hyundai. The previous generation, it had those little thin daytime running lights, of course, but now we have those wide, these more aggressive, these more evolved and mature daytime running lights. Now inside that, you'll notice that your headlights, your low beam and your high beam, that has that black finish behind. So when you're on the highway or you're just walking down the street and you see the Palisade for the first time, you don't even realize that the headlights are right there. Your eyes are drawn into this 3D box element, these posts that really encapsulate that front grille and gives the Palisade its true meaning in the name. You don't see that cascading metal style grille anymore. It's a little bit more aggressive. Like I said, this Hyundai has evolved. What we see is that more of a flush, kind of barrier wall type finish that mimics those Palisade Pacific Cliffs now in Los Angeles. So again, the Palisade name kind of embodies that front grille. But it's not just over the top. It's very simple. It's a flat finish, and it still gives you that minimalistic appearance, even with that kind of inlay gloss black metal. Now down at the bottom, just under our daytime running lights, we still have that space finish that we've seen across a lot of the Hyundai models now. Protecting the front end, several sensors now, your parking sensors on the sides and in the front. That was an awesome feature when we first had the Palisade introduced with those side marker indicators for that proximity awareness. Again, in 26, just a little bit better. Under there, functioning vents. And this is probably one of the cooler aspects now when the vehicle is turned on and engaged. These flaps open up like race car style and allow for that 3.5 V6 to breathe better. Under those vents, again, that same spaced out alloy finish that wraps around the side and down the side skirt, which gives it a beefier lower chin and not as kind of minivan-ish like some SUVs. You'll see on the hood line now, we have that traditional stamped Hyundai emblem right there on that front fascia, which again, if you hide this emblem, you wouldn't know what it was. You probably think, Tony, this might be an $80,000, $90,000 SUV. It's not. It's the most affordable third row luxury SUV on the market now, the Palisade. For the side profile for the all-new redesigned 26 Palisade, again, it's cleaned up just like the front is, but on this front end, you see that daytime running light that kind of teases down that side there, gives us that slight little winglet that helps flow down the side of the vehicle. Now there's no more of those aggressive lines like we've seen across the other model lineup. It's a lot more flush. It's just more sleek for the door panelings all the way to the rear. We do have this nice little wide body bezel that encapsulates the front and the rear wheel. That space gray finish really complements that front hang. So in the front, it's a little bit more tucked than what we saw with the first gen, that LX2 model, where in the rear you have a little bit more aggressive overhang behind that tire. Moving down, again, that nice fender flare that really just helps pronounce that side profile and breaks up that beautiful paint. So again, just reflecting off of the natural surface, you can see that beautiful metallic flake. For your calligraphy models, you get a two-tone side mirror. You'll have a black wrapped around casing with a nice body matching insert here in the center. That front A-pillar, it's blacked out. And then it meets, again, that chrome finish that now flows all the way down into the back, right where your D-pillar is. Blacked out C-pillar, blacked out B-pillar, and all this glass. So the Palisade now for 26 has a super tall cabin, but your overall height is not increased versus the previous generation. They lowered that door sill just slightly, which gives you better visibility for your second row passengers and the little ones in the third row. The Palisade is 199.2 inches long, 69.5 inches tall. The wheelbase is the biggest change. You have a 116-inch wheelbase, and the overall width of the vehicle now is 78 inches wide. Now the feet of this thing, you have the best wheel Hyundai has ever designed with this 21-inch exclusive calligraphy style wheel. Now I'm a little biased. The limited model has a beautiful 5-spoke 20-inch design, but it really doesn't match up to what we see now with the calligraphy. When you're looking down the side profile of this vehicle, the rear does look slightly larger, and that's because of how it tapers for your third row cabin. So again, all this massive glass wrapped in this beautiful space chrome with this rear kind of bubbling effect to your tail just makes that vehicle pop when it's floating down the highway. The rear of the redesigned Palisade, big changes for the second gen. We'll start with our taillights now. Again, LED taillights, and they mimic that same aggressive edging that we have with our daytime running lights in the front. The name Palisade, those posts that make up a defensive wall, we have those same aesthetics in the rear. One of my favorite features is your turn signal indicator glows orange right there in the center. So what that does, it really pops and it's really aggressive, but it's just a beautiful stacked design. Also with that rear end, that bubbling taper wide body presence, you can really see it down the edges. Makes the top of the cabin look taller and more narrow. This winglet, one of my favorites now for a luxury SUV. You have your third brake light that's also encased in there. Very thin pencil design that mimics with your lower fascia. So that space finish that we have across the whole front end of the vehicle, we have that in the rear. Rear bumper is also tucked, just like with how we saw with the Santa Fe. Big stamped Hyundai emblem with that polished finish Palisade scrolling across the back. And you might be thinking, this back glass looks enormous. And of course it is bigger for 26, but because we don't have that little wiper taking up all this lower space, it's tucked up here, it gives you that nice panoramic feel in the rear. Because this is the most luxurious Hyundai on the market, your rear camera does come with its own little spritzer for cleaning. Moving up, you have an additional camera for proximity. And then your third camera is what's going to help with your digital rear view mirror, that full digitized rear view mirror. With how flush your lower bumper is, you can really get into the rear of your cargo area behind that third row. Now, just behind that third row as well, you see all these array of buttons. You can control individual settings like lowering the second row, just lowering the third row, or even adjusting your third row forward and backwards. You also have the ability for one touch dropping the entire rear seats. Now again, for most manufacturers, these features are only on those cars that are $100,000, not with Hyundai. Now look at that, over 86 cubic feet of storage when all the seats are laid down. Behind your second row, you get a beautiful 46 cubic foot of storage. Behind that third row, that 19 cubic foot of storage is tremendous for the Palisade lineup and its competitors. You have this nice storage that's going to house your roadside repair kit, your first aid kit, multiple storage systems here for your cargo organizer there, and again, all the tools you need when you're on the side of the road. If you need to use that repair kit, you have it, but you also have some of the best roadside assistance with Hyundai. We've seen the outside of this luxurious monster. Now let's check out the interior, one of the most rarest color combinations yet for 2026. Let's take a look. And welcome, my friends, to the most luxurious interior that we've ever seen in a Hyundai to date. The second generation 2026 Palisade, just as beautiful on the inside as it is on the outside. Probably because of this exclusive brown interior that we see now. With that, this beautiful horizontal dash layout, very forward-facing, very user-friendly. All of this space finish gives us that feeling from the 70s when they said, this is what the future will look like. Well, this is what the future looks like for Hyundai. On your door paneling, your driver, your 1, your 2 memory position has a new friend now. You've got a pelvic, lower lumbar, or whole body massage mode. Just so if you're cruising down the road, you have all the same features and qualities that the Cadillacs have. Those high-end luxury SUVs, the Palisade has it now for the driver, and the second row passenger also gets a nice relaxation mode too with one touch. So now those long, extensive family road trips will no longer be a literal pain in the rear. Another huge feature are physical button layouts that aren't as chunky as the previous generation. Now every button has a position and it's a very nice sleek finish. So nothing's out of place, nothing kind of feels awkward. It's all right there on these 2 little strip platforms. You have all your audio controls and your map functions on one strip. Climate control, AC, heated seat, cooled seat, heated steering wheel, all on this lower platform. Your terrain and your auto hold adjustments there, your different drive modes, different terrain settings on the left side, and your parking assistance and censorship on the right side right there as well. So again, you're not hitting the volume knob, but accidentally turning the tune selector one way, or you're thinking you're turning the AC up, but you're actually turning the radio station or turning the music up. It's all easily broken down, almost categorized now for the cabin, which again, user-friendly is the biggest thing you want when you're driving a vehicle that's this nice. Now the center console for 26, we have this floating design, no more one-piece cockpit design like we had with the first gen. Now we have this floating layout, nice big deep cup holders, 12-volt outlets, and 2 USB charging ports as well. Now you're gonna have a 100 max outlet on these two with your standard USB on this side. Another cool feature, that UVC box is back, but in a new location. Just like that. A little blast from the past from what we saw with the first Genesis sedans in that opening console. Now you have that center console that has that beautiful butterfly open and also doubles as your UVC sanitation box. Like we saw with that kind of panoramic dash with the Santa Fe and that wood grain tabletop finish, we also have that with the Palisade, but this wood paneling here is exclusive for this brown interior, and it's beautiful with the depth it adds as that ambient light reflects off of it. So it gives it the appearance that it's a deeper well than what it truly is. And like we mentioned, panoramic, that tabletop design, now this panoramic display, 2 12.3-inch displays right there in your face with increased comfort and visibility that we didn't have in the previous model. Now, of course, those 2 12.3-inch displays are made out of one piece of paneling glass, and it sits back off of this design here. So it almost looks like it's like your head resting on a pillow with how plush that dash is and how the panoramic display just kind of sits back in it, almost just kind of resting now inside the dash. And you have the space finish that wraps around the sides and just makes this whole dash look like a pillow right there in front of you. Built-in navigation on your calligraphy, your limited models, satellite radio built in, beautiful Bose audio, wireless CarPlay, and Android Auto. We also have that same suede headliner that made the Palisade stand out when it first was introduced. Just like we had with our previous generation, we still carry over your turn signal, watch cameras, those lane watch cameras now we have for your right turn signal, your left turn signal, and we still have a beautiful 360 camera for the Palisade. The refreshed Palisade, the first gen, it introduced some of the nicest technology we saw with our digital, our full camera rear view mirror. We have that, of course, for 26, so we have better visual quality in that camera. But let's say you're old school like I am, you don't want that camera, you want to see the real nature, what's really behind you. One click and you're back to your traditional rear view mirror with all your garage door functions right there as well. We saw with the first gen Palisade that two-tone steering wheel layout and design. We still have that for 2026. But what changes is the redesigned interlay. We have this very futuristic, sleek design. Everything is right there where your thumbs would be. Anything you need to access regarding volume, voice command prompts, cycling through your maintenance alerts, your cruise control features, your lane keep assist, answering or hanging up on calls, right there, super easy and efficient to get to. Driver attention monitor is located right behind the steering wheel, and most folks kind of think that it might be in the way, but it's sleek. It kind of tucks right behind it, so it's not really an eyesore, but it's increased safety for that Palisade. The center here, we've seen with some of the other vehicles that don't light up like this. Hyundai brought this out with their EV lineup now. This digitized proximity awareness key that's right on the center of your steering wheel. So when you have some of the shade on it, you can see that it's glowing right there. There's 3 little dots. Moving down, we see we no longer have those button layouts, the drive, park, neutral, reverse, center console buttons. But you have it right here on your steering wheel column, that 3 on the tree, that classic gear lever design right here, just like with the Santa Fe. And your engine start stop. This might be one of my favorite features because how simple it is, but it cleans up the dash. It's located right there on the inside of that stock. So you have your drive, reverse, neutral, and park, of course, as well, with your engine start stop right there. So again, no wasted space, and that's the biggest thing for 26 in the Palisade. Everything has a purpose. Everything's just not wasted space and storage. Now you get full adjustment seats for your lumbar. They're ventilated, of course, but you have this beautiful stamped in kind of space, little bars that are in the seat there just below your lumbar support. And the big thing now, that nice calligraphy stamping into your headrest. They look incredibly soft, but they are very sturdy, and they're aerated and ventilated. with all of your lower lumbar adjustments, your lower leg adjustments, the front, the reclining of the seat, the back of the seat. Again, you have all that lower leg support for drivers like me that want to feel hugged by their vehicle. The Palisade is going to do that. It's going to hug you, and it's going to beg you to just take a nap and rest in this vehicle with how comfortable those seats are. Nothing more elegant, nothing more luxurious than these seats right here on the market that you're not paying $100,000 for. Now that we've gone in depth with the driver, the passenger, creature comfort features, let's take a look at the second row. Welcome to the second row of the most luxurious Hyundai Palisade ever created, the newest calligraphy model. And what do we see? These seats look like airplane style seats, that first class layout with how our headrest bolstering is. And we've said this previously when the first Palisade came out, your second row comfort features mimic the driver. Now that's truly emphasized with that relaxation mode you have for your second row passengers, as well as this incredible one-touch button now that'll make it super easy for your third row passengers to get in and out of the vehicle, and a nice little handrail, little grab bar that makes it easier to get in and out. And again, one touch again, the seat reclines for you, goes right back into position. No fighting those levers, hitting 37 controls on the side. It's all one touchability. Now I'm inside. Woo-wee. And I do have increased controls just behind your passengers. Left lumbar, we have the same positions where I can put it in relaxation mode. I can slide the seat forward. So let's say your biggest kid is in the front there, taking up all the space. Now, little Jimmy can go back here and just give himself just a little bit more space than he had traditionally. Talking about relaxation modes, I showed you how comfortable I was in the driver's seat. Now the coolest thing for 26, you have your speaker right there. You also have this new proximity sensor, so when the door is open and someone's approaching from the rear, the left or right side, this will glow orange and give you a little bit of feedback as well. So again, more increased sensitivity and sensing for the interior passengers. Nice slide shades. We always talk about how back in my day, we didn't have those, and we had those suction cups that were on the windows that were horrible. Now you have this sleek, nice design that hides that little shade for you. Same space edge door handles for your rear passengers. Nice phone pocket as well that can fit some of the bigger phones today, those Pro 15 Maxes or Pro 78 Maxes, whatever version model we're on now. That big tablet can fit right there in that cup holster. Ambient lighting still runs down the door paneling just like we had with the front. So we have it set to green now, so you can see it just kind of wraps around the entire car down that side paneling. USB ports, 100 watts on both sides as well. This was one of the coolest things that Hyundai introduced with the Palisade, were those nice access points for tablets and your smartphones. So you don't have 30 miles of wiring or 30 miles of cords getting tangled up back here and you have little Timmy and Jimmy fighting over it. Now it's very simple, very user-friendly. That retro feel we have with this nice oval design of your center console. You have that lower drawer storage right there. Nice AC 115 volt outlet that's powering our lamp now that makes me look all beautiful in the back. But also when we talk about cleaning it up, just like when you're in a limousine, you have those controls at the top. Now for your second row passengers in your third row, you can control your ventilated seats for your second row, your heated seats for your second row as well, fan speeds and controls, and you also have a voice command prompt that'll allow the driver, the voice to be amplified in the rear. You have these additional vents that with these little turn dials, you can turn the fence on and off. So the kids are gonna love this. And it's just like with the visibility on the side windows, you have these two beautiful, gigantic panoramic sunroof design and layout. It just really opens up the top of the vehicle and gives you that kind of 360 viewpoint when you're sitting in this vehicle. And again, your backseat passengers are going to feel like that they are getting chauffeured around, or they're in a first-class plane going to the Bahamas. That's how luxurious now the interior of the Palisade is. Now let's take a look at the third row, the most anticipated segment yet, where we had all those comments from the original Palisade video of how does a grown man fit in the third row? I will show you. And I've only gotten bigger since then. Now the moment you've all been waiting for. How does an adult fit in the third row? Let's check it out. Just like that. Go ahead and recline that seat back here. Now we're in the third row of the 26 Palisade, and look at all the space. Let me just show you. Oh yeah, look at all that space. You still have that beautiful theater stack design, so you're sitting a little higher than the driver and the second row passengers. With one touch, you can still adjust forward and backwards for 26 in that third row. Heated seats, high, medium, and low for your third row passenger also. USB connections. and vents at the top here, just like we had with the second row with this nice turn style design. And you have these one-touch lights. Do this all day. And there's not a bad seat in the Palisade, but the best seat's probably in the third row. You have increased visibility. You're kind of sitting over everything like a watchtower. Your back corner glass, that third row paneling glass, is enormous compared to the previous design. So you feel like you're just literally sitting there looking out of, like you're on a train station basically. You're looking out that train window. That's what it feels like now in the third row. Plus, when you pair those giant side paneling glass with your panoramic sunroof, those two windows up top, I mean, the back seat, again, it's the best seat in the house, and we're in the third row. I'm a grown man. What's super nice again are those one-touch buttons. So when your third row passengers are ready to exit, you can click that top button that's kind of hidden right beside the left of the headrest. And now look at that. Thank you, Jarvis. Time to go. Now with the newest redesign for 2026, you're probably wondering, Tony, what is a beautiful, high-end, luxury Hyundai gonna cost you? Well, this beautiful beast beside me is gonna have a starting MSRP of $58,000. That will include your destination handling, as well as some accessories that are port installed. When you move down to your limited trim models, you're gonna see just under $50,000 price point for that vehicle, and that also drops for your SC and your SCL segments. They're gonna start just over $40,000 before destination handling and any port installed accessories. And of course, the most sought after hybrid Palisade and the most aggressive and off-road ready XRT Palisade that's revamped and refreshed for 26 as well, coming soon. Well folks, thank you so much once again for your time as we introduce the newly redesigned second generation Hyundai Palisade. We'll be seeing you soon as we introduce the XRT and the hybrid segment, that most sought after hybrid Palisade, coming soon. So again, we hope that you like, share, subscribe, come on by the dealership, ask for Tony. You and I will personally take one of these out for a spin and see what you think. We'll let you be the real judge. So we'll be seeing you soon.